Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with the 15th, I think, episode. As always, rely on the video titles, not on me. But I believe this is the 15th episode of The Priest Legacy for Cultist Simulator, starring Harold Davidson as the priest. So, we're just about to move up our reason. We're going to start bringing some more bodies into the Church of the Bright Edge. And we're going to start taking care of some expeditions as soon as the season of suspicion passes. Just to begin with, I'm going to go back through the White Door. We really only have Moth right now in terms of some of the high... Well, sorry, not just not just Moth, but we're a little bit short on some of the higher level lore, let's say. But we are at least in a position to start pushing forward, start doing a little bit better, and more importantly, I'm not going to have sort of that effort to want to try and raise my abilities, pulling me back as they might under other circumstances. Now again, we haven't actually accomplished all of these things yet, so this episode largely we're going to be tying up the loose ends. We'll move up our scholarship. We'll actually basically do it twice because we should have the ability to do so. And then following that, I don't know if we'll get to an expedition yet, but we can at least start, start thinking about what our next moves are going to be. I do still want to generate mystique. Like I'm not quite out of the woods yet. We're beyond the woods. We're going to the White Door, but we're we kind of see the ending for a lot of the things that we've been dealing with in the first few episodes here. So we can learn from each other, although this isn't the patron. Now, I'd love to use this peculiar rumor to try and bring in, another follower. The challenge is that I'm looking to reduce my notoriety, not expand on it. So we'll leave that aside for now. So possibilities. So we've got 3 erudition here. Oh dear. So I think I misjudged the time that I have. Oh no. Nope. Yep. I misjudged the timings. That's fine. We'll have ways of preserving this erudition, but I want to be a bit careful in terms of how I handle some of this. So first thing we're going to do is take our notable scholarship. I have learnt enough to know how little I know, and this requires 3 lessons learned. So this is only going to last 28 more seconds. We definitely want that to be taken care of. And we'll now move exercise the mind wisest. Now, the challenge that I have here is that I want to turn these 2 erudition into a lesson learnt. If I wait for the study verb to do that, then this erudition is going to expire. However, we're finishing our service, so in 9.5 seconds we're going to be able to paint with this erudition. We don't have any restlessness on the table, and even if I did, I'd be able to use the dread with the fascination to get rid of it. But those are, that's going to be sort of how we, actually, the other thing I can do is just talk about, I could try and bring someone in and use the fascination, but in this case here, I'd like to generate some more mystique through trying to do recruitment. So with that in mind, we'll talk about the Watchman Secret. Now, the reason I was doing the Watchman Secret is to try and provoke the Light in the Skull event, which will give me an additional erudition. Because we have not locked in that final level of knowledge, of skill, of reason. I want to still kind of continue as if we don't have it, but this may be, just kind of overkill. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. So the question is if I'm brave enough to let the mystique run by without to let the timer run by without the organ with the mystique. I think I will, but and the auction is over. The lot has gone on elsewhere. I retain my funds. Okay, so plenty of possibilities here. So one thing I'll do to try and provoke erudition is I'm actually going to send Pope Clifton out. This is only going to be temporary. We will start getting some more of the vaults, but Pope Clifton is a lantern follower, which means that again we'll potentially provoke the Light in the Skull, which gives us the erudition. I think I'm going to take my chances with the Suppression Bureau here, so let's watch the timer run by. Okay, got lucky. So I'm going to preserve what mystique I can. Definitely want to keep the notoriety on the table. My suspicion is this painting should be finished before the next round of the Suppression Bureau. I'm trying to think if there's any benefit to putting the passion in. Actually, yeah, there is. So as nice as it is to preserve this mystique, I can just generate more of it by using the passion. So you never know, this might be a living. So we'll use erudition as our inspiration. This should have an impact. And the result should be a bit more mystique, a bit more time to work with my erudition. And we've got a hulking fellow. I get the job done. But yeah, so this should be more in line with sort of letting that notoriety expire and keeping around the items I want. Of course, this is starting to expire, but what we want to do here is just preserve the erudition long enough for us to use the study verb, which is going to be available to us. Okay, don't want to pick up the restlessness. Let's try the Lodge of the Sage Knight. Well, another favor from authority if I get in trouble. I've learned something that will earn me a favor once only. Last night I dreamt of a blue silk pavilion overlooking the cloudy labyrinth of the Bounds. I listened to the mistress of this place speak of other visitors. The Suppression Bureau comes here. Did you know that? I think they hope to recruit me as an ally, she snorts derisively, after what they tried to do to Christopher. But their folly is your fortune. I will tell you something that may help you if the Bureau ever troubles you. So, fresh intelligence, just at the time our old one's expiring. So that's decent. Let's grab the white door again. I won't pay for the paint. It's a passion-based one, so may not pay as well. And as yet, I have only the needs and desires of any other mortal, but what stirs in me? Okay, so if there's any more followers to be gotten, we should be getting it here. I'll probably do one more run just to make sure that I get the mistaken identity. But looking good overall. So my mind is a paradise of mirrors in which all things are clear, even those things I might prefer not to see. Profound scholarship. My skull creaks at the corners with knowledge, with the knowledge I've accrued. So one more level for that, but we're doing well. I'm not quite ready to crack open the essays, so we'll just wait the 2 seconds for the painting to finish. Exceptional work. This is something special. It may provoke a reaction. It'll also probably provoke some fascination. Alright, so yes, as predicted, we will have the... it's going to finish before the next round from the Suppression Bureau. Good news for us. So that was 3 new Mystique, and then on top of that, we're going to have the 13-second Mystique kicking around. Basically, we're going to need I think we might be able to get away with 2 more of these. But the need for generating Mystique is not quite as high as it used to be. I'll still probably mess around with it a little bit. I don't know why I thought the Watchman Secret was fun, but okay. I will paint. I just kind of want to have the timer run by. So I'm going to do something a little tricky here. What I'm going to do is we will paint. I'm going to take the Mystique that's a bit old. I mean, we're still going to have a bit of a wait ahead of us, but in this case it's a more reputation-based painting where you do a mood piece with the restlessness. I almost let the erudition expire. Exercise the mind. I've picked up odd facts here and there. If I spend time studying what I've learned, I could increase my reason. So we're going to need 180 seconds to go through all of the essays, but the profound scholarship requires 4 lessons learnt, so we'll be in good shape after that. I think it's 300 seconds when you get a lesson learnt, so we should be in good shape. Better not. I must be careful of the company I keep. I will just do one more run with Pope Clifton exploring the streets. Crowded thoroughfares by day, a frog-wrapped labyrinth by night. I'll send my minions to searching for opportunities. I'll just do this to make sure that I've got my timings right in terms of lessons learned, but I think we're in a good place. This one, I think I can afford to spend the money. It's not quite as important as it used to be, but I've got 34 seconds, so we'll do one more run with Pope Clifton here. Well, that's not true. If it turns out to be Street Strange by Moonlight, I'll probably have to do a couple more runs with Pope Clifton, but I have a feeling we'll probably run into a hireling. Well, another erudition if I need it. I soak up knowledge as a shadow soaks up light. I may be close to advancement. In last night's dream, I was in the lodge of the Sage Knight behind the white door. It is difficult to remember exactly how I came there. The mistress of this place, the woman with the dark glasses, was nodding as if I had asked her a difficult question. Of course I hadn't. I lost my speech when I passed the white door. How is it that I can speak, she said to me. I didn't come here through the white door. I'm not proud of what I did to come here, so let me tell you about something else. No real penalty for us going through the white door repeatedly, so we'll carry on. An entry consultant. So if I'd like to burgle people, I guess that'd be okay, but... Okay, we have got Valsine. So we get our passion back, we get another Mystique. One more Watchman Secret again, just to make sure that there's no bodies that I'd forgotten. But so far as I can, I mean, the biggest one, the way I try and keep track of who has 2 or more, I know the cultists sort of well enough. So it's like, who's the third not cult? Well, Douglas, I guess. But in terms of the people that you can get, the third one would just be the hanger-on. Is there a third Winter? Well, no, it's Eau Claire and Violet, so far as I can recall. Saliba and Rainier. You know, like in this case here, it's more just sort of process of elimination, and then I don't believe there's any of these which have more than 4. That's just kind of the shorthand that, you know, lets me say, okay, I think I'm near the end. But again, it's nice to just have those verifications, and more importantly, I'm adding more Mystique to help with the investigation, just in case. Okay, so hopefully the strategy is sort of apparent from the way I'm handling the Mystique. As it turns out, this was just purely reputation-based. But we've extended the life of the Mystique for a little bit longer. I've got 7.7 seconds, so this, where it normally would have expired, is a candidate for being picked up. We still have our staleness, but that was a pure reputation painting, so no surprises there. And I mean, I can try another painting or another sermon. I think maybe I'll do something passion-based, maybe against my better judgment. Just to like really, you know, really get rid of it. We'll use the erudition. It should have an impact. And then at that point, we'll just let it run by. Yeah, so we only have one more draw, and then we'll be fine. I mind the library. Use this lesson learnt with your scholarship skills. So yeah, 296, so 180 seconds to read the collections of essays, and then it doesn't matter that it takes another 60 to upgrade the skill, because of course these all wind up being input. So we will read collection of essays. If the mind is a blade, this is a whetstone. Exercise for the intellect. Okay, so I do want to try and get some vitality for the Season of Sickness. So we have a chance of generating that from trips to the through the white door, but actually I guess I'm also using my study verb, so maybe I'll just leave it be. We'll see. Kind of depends on how much time I have. I can always spend money on the medicine as well, but I try to avoid it if I can. I guess what I'm trying to say is a course of the heart would be welcome, or alternatively, a hard influence. Actually, let's try the Orchard of Lights, because I think I don't know if you can get vitality from it, but I think there might be hard influence. I'm trying to remember. Well, I get a free fascination. An intensity of radiance. Light dews the skin and suffuses the air. The invisible arts, Christopher Lappley is said to have remarked, are as profitable as macrame, as ethical as tobacco smuggling, and in general as beneficial as roulette. Still, there is always the Orchard of Lights, and indeed the orchard, with its glowing fruit and peaceful mists, is a place to be yearned for. Last night I walked there in the peaceful hours of the deep night. Even after waking, I still carry with me a little of the glory of the old sun. So I don't need to worry about it too much, and then of course with enough time, with the restlessness, this may turn into dread, which is something that we could use to tranquilize the fascination, but we're definitely not we're definitely not in a state where I need to be thinking along those lines yet. I do, however, want to go back through the white door, mostly to try and provoke the vitality. But or not, I must be careful of the company I keep. Now, because I know that I've got the erudition that I need, normally I would be going on, I'd be looking for vaults here, but because I'm trying to provoke a Course of the Heart, I'm actually going to send Clovette out to explore the city. Crowded thoroughfares by day, a fog-wrapped labyrinth by night. I'll set my minions to searching for opportunities. If I need dread as well, I've always got Sturm. Alright, so Bomb Maker. Not exactly what I need, but I guess nice to have. Recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. So we have 3 more Mystique to show for our efforts. Again, overkill because we really only need 1 more round with the investigation, but I guess it doesn't hurt. Okay, and we did get rid of our staleness, which is also kind of nice. Moving right along, I could run the risk of... Yeah, this is the tricky one, actually. So I could run the risk of the sermon. I could paint, which would produce more Mystique, which probably isn't what I want to do. I'm going to do a sermon. I'll prepare my sermon with care. We won't do doctrines. I do want to keep the income coming in because I am going to be. I mean, normally I would use heart, but I'm trying not to provoke fervor. So in this case here, what I'm just trying to do is keep the lights on and make sure I have enough money for the expeditions when I get ready to go on them. But with the talk verb, I'm going to switch my attentions towards just recruiting everyone that I need. The Forgotten Mithraeum should be pretty easy for me to handle, but moving forward, there'll probably be some other details I need to take care of. This illness has damaged my health. I'll need to rest before I'm fully recovered. So I've got 3 minutes to get a vitality. I don't mind running out the clock on this, but I do need to make sure that I need to make sure that I think about it properly. The last thing I want to do is turn it into a decrepitude, because that's just going to cause more problems. Okay, back to the Orchard of Lights. Pulsing Airs. All right, well, got my potential vitality. I mean, it's level 6, so I'm going to need some time on it, but a rising power, a reassuring energy. The hours have been called unmerciful, but they permit sleepers sometimes to walk in the Orchard of Lights, where each fruit glows like a sunset, where the roots of the trees are shaped for peaceful rest, where the mist soothes the heart. I was there last night, and the taste of the fruit lingers, sharp and sweet as the passage of spring to summer. So I wish there was a way that I could sort of let this decay a bit faster, but I can't complain about that. That's what I needed. The question is whether or not it'll decay fast enough. All right. Again, we'll try and provoke the Course of the Heart. If we can get faster vitality, that just means that I heal faster. And I've got 1 more collection of essays to read, and then we're ready to go. As yet, I've only the needs and desires of any other mortal, but what stirs in me? All right, send out Clovette again. Again, just purely a matter of trying to get the Course of the Heart. And we have a case of mistaken identity. This isn't this isn't who you hope for after all. They're no one of particular importance, and eventually they'll pass from your memory. Perhaps there is no one else available that you'd care to meet. All right. So now we're in a case of where we want to let the mystique sort of die away on its own. Now, if I found the restlessness inconvenient to deal with, I could just use it as an input to the induction. In this case, I think I will paint with it. It does mean that I'm going to have some more mystique kicking around, but I don't know. It's a nice way of turning restlessness into money, and it does stop me potentially from generating another notoriety. So let's let's bring some people in. I think I'm just going to kind of go left to right in terms of the order here. So we'll take Neville. Oh, sorry, Neville's already a believer. But Slee is an acquaintance, remembering that Craig Slee, the astronomer and avant-garde poet, has developed an interest in the esoteric as his health wanes. So we'll take this Consciousness of Radiance. I can't really see why I would benefit from having Fascination on the board, so I just want to get rid of that. And then we have the Knife Secret. Again, this doesn't have Edge, but this would become Edge if I let it run for 55 seconds, because it turns into Dread. But in this case here, we'll use the lore that we have available to us. So there's a side of me that wonders if you... So I'm not going to say what event it is on the odd chance that some of you are new to Cultist Simulator. This is a fun one to realize on your own, but there can be some events which will basically kill someone. And I'm mildly curious whether or not the case of mistaken identity, if you know, with just the right set of circumstances, can actually be one of the ones that gets picked up in that event. Anyways, the congregation listens closely. I have shared no secret doctrine today. So there's a small chance that we can get the Course of the Heart from using the Restlessness, but really this is just about making a little money. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to extend the life of the expiring Mystique. I believe this has the potential to generate some new Mystique on its own, but the hope here really is just that I'm extending something that's going to be going away sort of naturally on its own. Alright, Clovette, let's get you out one more time to search the city. I think I can also get Vitality from Streets Strange by Moonlight, but again, I don't want to... Oh yeah, actually playing with that means that I potentially get a Fascination, so we definitely want to avoid that until the Season of Visions passes. I can spend money on it just because it is a Mystique painting. Alright, well, It's not the time that I needed it, but we do have another light in the skull. Whenever the principle of lantern sheds its light, I may recall additional scraps of knowledge. So, before they speak the words, the novice must sharpen a knife so that it can separate a drifting thread, and it be not sharp enough, it will be the worse for them. So, Slee speaks earnestly of his theories to all who will listen. The stars as tiny wounds, and the sun is a hemorrhage of glory. His poetry is more eccentric than ever. Now, what I didn't realize here, so Slee is not Lantern at the start. Slee is Lantern at the end. So, with that in mind, I think it makes sense for me to try and bring Dorothy and Leo in, because that will potentially be generating the Course of the Heart. We're getting close to the point where I'm going to either need to spend money or just otherwise deal with this through other means. But I don't mind, just taking every opportunity that I can. There's no real penalty for trying, so just going to take a second here and make sure I don't have anything I want to try and get rid of on the board. Not really. Could I use Glimmering if I wanted? That's interesting. So if you have a Moth Cult and you're one away from... I'm not that I see how you would be one away, but you could use a Glimmering. Neat. Oh, I'm sorry, Dorothy's already in here, but Leo isn't, so this one is ready. Leo is an earnest sort with an interest in the occult. He hangs on your hints about the invisible arts. Let's try and get to that last level of knowledge before we head out. Yeah, we can send Clovette out again. Again, I do want to get some more expeditions, but it's not... we're not quite at the point where I need to, bend every effort towards getting more locations. Those will come with time. All right, another professional... sorry, not another, but a professional muscle. I'll break them in half. Let's try the Orchard of Lights again. Oh, well, we could have gotten a Forgotten Chronicle. My emotions run higher than usual. There are things I will never understand, and those things will always be precious, but just now I am closer to them. The sun in splendor, the hour who once ruled the Mansus, was known to walk in the orchard before his terrible division. Sometimes his remnants walk here still. Sometimes I see the chilly radiance of the Meniscate through the trees, or the chillier radiance of the sun in rags. Were they to come upon me, it might be my end, but to see them in the distance is the gift of insight. So we've got 60 seconds on Trembling Airs, we've got 106 seconds for an Affliction. So I can afford one more trip to the White Door. After that, we have the Vitality that I need. But the reason to go to the White Door anyway is not so much the Course of the Heart, but rather the opportunity to potentially find a secret history. I've been a bit unlucky in terms of those. Okay, so we got 3 mystique for my effort. So basically it's a well, actually it's not exactly a wash because this is going to last longer than the old ones, but I mean, we took the chance. I have got some staleness for my trouble as well. But that's life. Again, no doctrines in this one. I'm trying to maintain a low profile while still making some cash. Dusty facts have come clear in my brain, for now at least. And before they speak the words, the novice must sharpen a knife so it can separate a drifting thread, and it be not sharp enough, it will be the worse for them. Leo is an earnest sort, but he's prepared to do what he must. Okay. Again, no real... So every once in a while, you'll sort of see me hold back certain followers just to be able to get rid of negative... sort of negative things like dread or fascination. In this case here, I definitely want to make sure that I have a full stable of believers. Hangers-on may be another question. I'll work that out for myself over time, but for now I really just want to try and bring as many people as I can in. So this one is ready. Possibilities. All right, so we're ready for the last level. So we take our profound scholarship, we add our lessons learnt, and finally we need a lore. So I think in this case it would be appropriate for us to add the knock. I will cross the threshold where the horned axe waits. Just because I have the edge cult doesn't mean that we're completely ignoring knock. More light in the skull. Before they speak the words, the novice must sharpen the knife so it can separate a drifting thread, and if it be not sharp enough, it will be the worse for them. I'm sorry, I think I forgot to mention Cat Caro's acquaintance text before, but Cat Caro the Believer, a bright-eyed, watchful woman who recalls her dreams perfectly. On to our moth followers, so it's just Yzabet who we need to add, so... Yzabet has always been most comfortable by moonlight. She has excellent night vision. She's often overlooked in daylight. So we take the knife secret again. This one is ready. And again, I want to be careful with the dream slot, because in 7 seconds I need to make sure that the vitality and the affliction get used. Better not. I must be careful of the company I keep. So. We've got what we need from Clovet. We know we've got a vitality coming up. So what we're going to do now is start exploring with the occult scraps to get the last of the locations. So for those of you not familiar with Cultist Simulator, the vaults that you can explore, which you will know through the aspect vault, there's something precious here. Each of them will, they count as a location, but they will also they have an aspect in terms of where they are. So location is the fact that it is a location. Where it is, which is weird, right? You have the location aspect and then you say, where is its location? In this case, it's in the capital. And basically, the higher the level of lore of secret histories, the further and further out, the more complicated the vault is, but also the rewards become higher. So this is sort of exploring in your own backyard, which it's funny. Actually, I'm delighted that some of the responses to some of the things that I say are just kind of the personal anecdotes that come up with inside the game. I wish I traveled more. But one thing I always find interesting, and I think because I've moved to a place with lots of museums, one of the things that I am becoming increasingly aware of is just how much there is to explore in your backyard. I obviously, with the world as it is now, I've had fewer opportunities to sort of go out and really see a lot of the things. I mean, very touristy things, you could think of it. But it is one thing in the old city. I used to live in Vancouver. I'd love walking around and finding the new stuff. So never found any vaults, but that's just because I wasn't looking at it with the right eyes. If I had played Cultist Simulator, I would have found something to send some friends in and loot. Maybe that's not the thing you admit in public. All right. I kind of feel like yeah, well, let's go to the Orchard of Lights one more time. I feel like we should be probably trying the Lodge of the Sage Knight, but hey, actually, that turned out well. All right. Forgotten Chronicle, a story of a city without a gate, of a queen who was not born, of a war which was not fought. Last night I walked in the Orchard of Lights. I plucked the fruit, which is always ripe, and consumed it in 2 bites. The taste is not to be forgotten. As I licked the glowing juices from my fingers, I saw a message carved in the bark of the tree. When I woke, I recorded that message, all I could remember, in my diary. All right, that was lucky. So let's take our occult scrap. We will seek out secret places in the city. There are places in the city where I can find extraordinary things if I can sift through the clues out of history and rumor. And let's heal. So all I need now is time. So the last sort of thing that we need to worry about is the investigation. Again, I want to try and avoid generating mystique. I also want to avoid generating notoriety. Oh, see, this might generate notoriety, and then we're back in the same trouble. But we're gonna power through it. Another light in the skull. And Yzabet sleeps in fits and starts. She rises at dusk to do the things a Yzabet does. And we will bring in Tristan. I think it's always because I'm worried that Tristan is not actually a Forge follower and that I've misclassified him. So Tristan dislikes distractions. Tristan gets things done. The higher I rise, the more I see. No live organism can continue for long to exist sanely under the conditions of absolute reality. And we have a rarefied mind. My mind is glass and my memory light. All right, so as far as our study verb is concerned, we know exactly what we need to do. We will apply our rarefied mind to the last few documents. This is a bit of a timer for me. Essentially, I want to make sure that I'm beginning on expeditions by the time that I finish reading all of these books. So given that we're at the end of the time, I think I'm going to leave the Orchid Transfigurations for the next video, just because if I can, I like to try and read the books all in one go. So you'll read the opening text for it. I'll read the description text, the opening text, and the closing text, hopefully within the same video. Yeah, again, I don't think I'm losing a whole lot by not putting that in the slot. I am curious what happens with the exaltation. If it's notoriety, I mean, that's unfortunate, but it's not fatal because it's not like I was going to be going on expeditions right away either. So we just do the same trick to try and get rid of the notoriety. But I may need to rethink my position on doing sermons to sort of maintain the funds. It will be clear why I want to have a big stack of funds once I start going on the expeditions, but with that in mind, it is going to become something that potentially causes me delays. But all of that is going to be something that I deal with in the next week. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your comments, and please do feel free to continue bringing those along, or the likes. Again, aside from the fact that it helps the videos get noticed, again, personally, I like reading them. I actually also really like reading everybody's takes on Cultist Simulator, what the game means to them, or if there was something that was thought-provoking, or just in general. It's really nice to sort of... This is the whole reason why I did the game, right? Why I continue to stream this game. I like sharing it with people, and... I can assure you that it is not every video on YouTube that can sort of have this nice feature of having very, very friendly people stop by and talk about what they're interested in the game. So, I mean, it's probably appropriate given the subject, this idea of finding like-minded people, even if the outcome is maybe a little bit more sinister inside of the context of this game. Obviously, it's fun to be able to share things that you enjoy with other people. So I never want it to sound too mercenary. It is actually something that personally gives me a little bit more fuel to keep these videos coming. So thank you for that, as always. Like I said, I never like taking it for granted, even if it does mean that my goodbyes are a little bit longer. And of course, if you have been enjoying these videos and not subscribed already, please consider doing so. And if you would like to be notified when videos come online, you can always hit that bell. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. I will be back Monday for another episode of Cultist Simulator. Until then.